Like to call the June 11th, 2026 meeting to order at 2:07. Machines are open for roll call. Let the record show 7 members are present. Mr. Newsom's on his way. Mr. LaFrance had a funeral today. Could stand up, Mr. Champagne will say the prayer, and Mr. Schultz the pledge.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and to thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. This flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a leader.
Executive session. You want to go to executive session? To executive session, executive session pursuant to LARS 4217A2 and the Louisiana Code of Evidence, Article 506B, the council shall receive attorney privilege communications from its legal counsel regarding Midway Cattle Ranch, LLC et al. Versus Plaquemines Parish Government. USDC EDLA 217 CV 07468 attorneys Rennie S. Burris II and Danny Garrett. Executive session pursuant to LARS 4217A2 and the Louisiana Code of Evidence, Article 506B, the council shall receive attorney privilege communications from its legal counsel regarding Midway Cattle Ranch, LLC versus Plaquemines Parish Government, 25th JDC Division A, case number 66234, attorneys Rennie S. Burris II and Danny Garrett.
I'll offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any questions from the audience? Administration? Council, machines open.
Don't let it go.
Yes.
Yes.
Let the record show it passes 7-0, and we're going into executive session at 2:10. Executive session at 2:28 with no binding action. Can we go to the, either the 4-H or the blood?
11F, presentation by Anna Timmerman from the LSU Ag Center. Podium might need.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me back. My name is Anna Timmerman with the LSU Ag Center. I'm the A&R agent here in Plaquemines and St. Bernard, and soon to be parish chair. I'm not sure if you all heard, but Mr. Wayne Burgess, who has been with us for 35 years, is retiring at the end of the month, and I'll be assuming some of his administrative duties as well. Just giving you guys a quick citrus update since we last met. We are on the grant train right now. Been submitting a lot of grants in the past year. Historically, we've had 1.5 million citrus trees here in Plaquemines. We're down to, that should be about 6,000 to 7,000 mature trees in the parish currently. And we are in replant mode with the current surviving growers as well. We are trying some new things through a partnership with the University of Florida. They're sending us some new material, new cultivars to try that are a little more cold hardy because we did lose quite a few trees in that 2025 blizzard. And we're pursuing state, federal, and nonprofit grants to support the industry. This past March, I had 22 growers come to our citrus meeting. That was well attended, not only by the growers, but USDA representatives, Soil and Water Conservation Board as well. And we were able to get the people who regulate the industry in the room with the growers for the first time in many years, and that was very productive. We were able to get a lot of survey data directly from the farmers that assist us in getting grants and resources to them, but we also were able to coordinate monitoring for the psyllids that spread the citrus greening so that we can release the wasps near their groves, and it's real-time data, so that was a big help for them as well. We're also increasing the farm's payouts for disaster, the tree assistance program payouts. Currently, the growers, when they lose a tree, they were only getting about $14 a tree to replant. We've now upped that based on current inputs like diesel, fertilizer, and the actual cost of the tree, and that should reflect $113 per tree. Now, if you can do that math, that's a big deal when you're trying to replant a couple hundred trees per year or even a few thousand trees per year, and it more accurately aligns what's going on with Florida and California's industry as well. So that was a big win for us in the past few months. In terms of the removal of derelict trees, we did have some success with that with Raymond from the health department. However, we did have a lot of absentee landowners who we just couldn't either get in touch with, or they had maybe removed the trees themselves, and there were some outright folks that just didn't want us to take trees out, either for sentimental reasons, or they thought they were fine, and things like that. But I was able to map where the citrus trees are in the parish. That's a screenshot from the Google Earth file, and that's something that I'm constantly updating so that if we do have further issues or further programs, especially funded federal programs that come down the pipe, we can target these areas and we know exactly where those trees are. So that was kind of a logistical exercise as well, but it's made communication with the different agencies really a lot smoother. In terms of replanting this spring and summer, a couple of growers are budding trees and grafting trees right now for planting into the ground. So this is separate from the retail nursery side of things. We have a couple of retail nursery growers in the parish. These are trees intended to produce fruit in the ground in Plaquemines Parish. We have several thousand trees going in, and I was able to provide some budwood for that grafting from my facility in Violet, Louisiana for the first time this year. We're looking at close to 100% success with that genetic material, so that was a big win as well. And I did 3 budding workshops in the area for the smaller or newer producers so they could learn that skill and start producing trees for themselves as well. I put in for a LDAF, Louisiana Department of Ag and Forestry Specialty Crop Block Grant this spring. That was funding for the individual tree protective covers. It's basically a screen bag that goes over the young trees for the first 3 years that keeps those insects off, keeps them disease-free, gives them a chance to really root in and stay healthy before they get established. And in Florida, 100% of our new trees are going into the bags. In Louisiana, no one's tried it before, but we did have one grower give it a try last year with good success. So through a partnership with the Soil and Water Conservation Board, we were able to give the bags away to the growers this spring so that they could try them in the field. And then this grant is intended to get enough bags, T-posts, supplies, so that every new tree that goes in the parish goes into a bag, has a fighting chance of establishing without getting diseased. Those bags are reusable, they're hurricane proof as well, and yield goes up. So we're really crossing our fingers about that one. Also put in for a USDA National Specialty Crop Block Grant with the University of Florida and the other Southern University Extension Services, looking at cold hardy citrus selections, but also disease resistant selections. So if that goes through, we're going to be able to import a lot of that material into the state, and we're going to do field trials right here in the parish. We've got that lined up with 4 or 5 growers, and that's all new cultivars, including some genetically modified cultivars, which is kind of interesting. We'll be able to play with that a little bit as well. But what we're looking for is increased survivability so that we're not just doing the same thing over and over, planting the same cultivars over and over just to have the trees die in 5 to 7 years. I'm assisting a couple of growers right now with a Sprout NOLA Urban Ag Grant. So growers outside of the city are eligible for this as well, up to $10,000 for equipment, services, fencing, anything like that. It's due at the end of the month, so 2 of our citrus growers are applying for this as well, for equipment upgrades because they sell their citrus in the city, and we're anticipating them to be awarded those. There's also the American Farmland Trust National Farm Viability Grant. I'm working with 2 producers on that one as well. Again, it's $10,000 towards equipment and infrastructure on farm, and that's to solidify land access, but also tenure and not lose those farmers that are existing farmers. And with that, that's the conclusion of my update. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the audience?
Yeah, gotta ask, you know. Oh, you said the trees, they were gonna come from Florida?
They're going to what?
You said the trees gonna come from Florida?
From Florida, yes. University of Florida is kind of leading the research edge in terms of new cultivar development, so I have a partnership with them, and they're sending us a lot of things.
So would that be the Florida variety of trees or the Plaquemine variety? Because you know that's the difference.
So what gives the Plaquemines variety its flavor, though, is our soil. So it shouldn't matter if it comes from Florida, it's the soil. Yep, that's a great question. Same with the Creole tomatoes. Other questions?
Administration, council,
Okay,
Ms. McCarty?
all right, that's, yep, thanks so much.
Is my
Oh, you have a question?
Ms.
Reverend?
McCarty.
mic on?
Should be.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She's in.
Yeah, I was queued in. I'm in now, thank you. Hi, Ms. Tinnerman. You had mentioned a few things, and you said that we're getting some trees with genetic altered material, and that we're also planting some trees now,
Next year.
next year.
Yes, so the CRISPR technology for rootstock is suppressing that bacteria that makes the trees sick in the first place. And that is proprietary, and there's a lot of legal loopholes to jump through before we can get that. It's also patented, so it's not something we can share freely. But for research purposes, it's kind of one of the 4 or 5 things they're looking at nationally, but also globally, to try to overcome some of the challenges we're having.
So the same rootstock that's going through the genetically altered in the CRISPR, is that going to be the type that's resistant to not only canker but cold temperature?
Yeah, so there's some overlap with the breeding programs, and I'm working with both breeders. So they're trying to push their citrus range into North Florida and into that panhandle area, into Georgia, South Carolina as well, and that's the same climate as us. So a lot of the breeding efforts are including that frost protection, because that's been a persistent problem for a couple hundred years, where it seems like every 30 to 50 years we get wiped out, not only in this area along that I-10-12 corridor, but south into mid-Florida as well. So that's a huge economic driver for them, not only the disease resistance, but the frost tolerance as well.
Okay, I believe when you spoke to us last year, you said that there were some town in mid-Louisiana that was planting trees that were resistant to the canker, I believe? Or was it the cold?
It was to the cold. So we have 3 new cultivars. They're actually hybrid cultivars that were developed in Texas, and they're sustained to temperatures into the low to mid-teens. Now, they have to be protected when they're young, but once the trees get mature and established, they're able to go to about 16 to 14 degrees Fahrenheit.
If somebody wants to plant trees now, should they try and get those trees, or should they wait a year?
It's a really hard question, right? Because trees grow so slowly, and I work with a lot of older growers who they need solutions now. But if you're willing to wait a year or two, I think we've got some good things coming. But if you want to replant now, then yes, those 3 cultivars are Arctic Frost, Orange Frost, and Bumper. And I've got all 3 in my nursery. They made it through this past winter, and last winter, A+. They look great.
Okay, I'm going to have to get those names again.
Okay.
What? You know?
Arctic Frost, Orange Frost, and Bumper.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, you have a program that will help people remove trees and plant trees, is that correct? And is it only for professionals?
It's only for professionals. It's not for the home producers, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There was a big push a few years ago through Department of Ag for the residential, but that's since been discontinued.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
Mr. Edwards?
I think Patty might have answered my question. You had a grant, the last grant you put up there. My question, is that just for professional farmers, or can nonprofit organization apply for that grant?
That National Farmland Trust Grant, I believe, is what you were looking at. So that one's open only to farmers, but the Sprout NOLA grant is also open to nonprofits. So if you have a community garden or a nonprofit that's growing produce, that one is not due until June 30th, and that is open to you. And if you need help with the application, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And that's up to $10,000.
Thank you, sir. That's not for you, Mr. Brock. I know you got your little garden. I'm talking about you. I know
Other
you're
que-
writing it down.
Any other questions?
Other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for your service, too.
Next item, suspension. To vote on it, we do.
Suspension. New business, 11A, introduction of resolutions where suspension is being sought. A resolution authorizing community blood donation efforts during the semi-quincentennial of the United States of America and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This is a resolution to mark and celebrate the United States' 250th anniversary of signing of the Declaration of Independence. Councilmember Newsom.
Mr. Newsom offers their second. Second by Ms. McCarty. Any questions from the audience? Administration, council, machines are open on the suspension. Passes 8-0. Let the record show Mr. Newsom is now in the building.
A resolution authorizing community blood donation efforts during the semi-quincentennial of the United States of America and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This is a resolution to mark and celebrate the United States' 250th anniversary of signing of the Declaration of Independence. Councilmember Newsom.
Mr. Newsom offers, can we get a unanimous second? Anybody object? Unanimous second. Any questions from the audience, administration, council? Machines open. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Miss Susie Potter's in the audience here today from the Blood Center. So she's been, as we know, she's came to this body a couple times for her tireless work on this matter. So if she'd like to say a few words briefly, please keep it briefly.
Vampires always want to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Blood Center, to honor this particular event.
Miss Susie, could you put your mic down and name and address, please, for the record?
All right, Susie Potter, Community Development Manager for the Blood Center, 2609 Canal Street, New Orleans, 70119. Okay, this special event, we have a slogan for it called Honor the Past, Help the Future. The reason why the slogan is blood donations represent putting the red in the red, white, and blue. So we are now coming into the hurricane season. Today, the blood supply stands at 25%. There's all kinds of challenges trying to get people to give blood. I'm not going to go into details. So I've asked the parish president if I could reach out to his office to sponsor a community blood drive, and what I need from each of you is to promote it. I don't want to have a park and pray. I want people to show up. So to honor the event, they will get a special recognition item. For the first time ever, we are going to give away a black polo. Ta-da! Ta-da! So that when people wear it, not only do they have pride of how they acquired it, but they have pride in the representation of our country. So first of all, thank you for passing the resolution. Second of all, thank you for your time, talent, and commitment to the citizens. This is another way of how you all are going to help the citizens of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Susie.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to say something.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Miss Susie, for being brief. And please get in touch with the office. We will really work with you. Yes, ma'am.
I'd give, but I'm a chicken. Machines are open on the order, the resolution. And it passes 8-0. Thank you all. Start at the agenda again, please.
For administration updates.
I'm just going to go through some things real quick. Good afternoon. The EOC, with the collaboration with a lot of us, all of you, and the administration from here to Baton Rouge, the EOC went out to advertisements Tuesday, and the bids are going to be opened up on July the 7th, and construction will begin hopefully October of this year. It's been a long drawn out, but we're all learning about government. So the Woodland Industrial Park advertising started on the 9th, which was Tuesday as well. Bids opening on July 7th as well with that. That's the project under the Woodland Bridge. The St. Bernard flood wall, the piping on that's been completed. Once the bacteria test passes, then they can tie in both sides on the St. Bernard and the Plaquemine side. The cast line, the iron cast, East Bank cast iron water line, the project's been completed. Both the pressure tests and the bacteria test, they passed. Now we're just waiting for the contractor to do the tie-in on both ends of that. Up with the state legislature, we created and we made the Peggy Martin Rose, the Plaquemines Parish flower this year. Now in the state of Louisiana, the Peggy Martin Rose is the state rose. So that's quite an honor for Miss Martin, and I truly believe for Plaquemines Parish there as well. Rep. Bro, he led the charge up there, and he had a vote of 95-0 in support of that right there. BKI, they hosted basically a road show at the auditorium May 21st. They're talking about the Peters Bypass road and all, and then the Woodland Highway. They started doing some work over the past weekend. Councilman Champagne kind of gave a description of what's going on. I saw it. He had it on Facebook, just letting the community know what's going on. So that has to sit for so long, and then once they come back, they'll bring it down 2 inches, and then they'll do an overlay over that there. And then the roundabout proceed to work was done on May 25th, and there's a whole litany of things that have to be done with that, and construction on that is anticipated to start around June 25th this month. What I'd like to do right now is bring up Mr. Morgan with Infomark. We had a lovely article in the Gazette earlier this week, so we're just going to go over some items of where we are with the water and working with this council right here. We've made a lot of progress, and it's taken time because we have had to track down monies to do what Robert is fixing to describe, and Chris and Jeffrey. So I'm going to turn everything over to those guys here.
Yep, Jeff, I'll let you go first.
Your turn, Jeff.
Mike.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Happy Thursday. Regarding the water grades, the 2025 water grades, first I want to lead in by saying this council has been very supportive of most of, I want to say all of the projects that we brought to you guys. Everybody knows the importance of our water quality. And I want to start by saying a majority of these grades are not reflective of the quality of water that we're pushing to the public. A majority of these deductions are because of aging infrastructure. And we are methodically getting to each of these projects to improve our infrastructure. Excuse me. I can start off with each water district and briefly explain where the deductions came from. I can start with Port Sulphur Water District. That was the lowest with the 46%. 25 points were deducted because of an administrative order we were issued a couple of years ago, basically for lack of generators, lack of permanent generators at the facility. We do have temporary generators. It's just the funding, and we're working towards that. We are working on some permanent generators at the Empire Water Plant, or the Empire Booster Station, I should say. An additional 15 points was deducted for exceedance of some contaminants, but that was during the saltwater intrusion last year, and basically these contaminants build up with what they call old water, and all of the water utilized south of Belchase was coming from Belchase. So there was some issues with the water sitting at Port Sulphur because it wasn't being used. Everything was pushed from Belchase. And there was some points, some small points deducted for some chlorine, low chlorine violations due to some water leaks. We found a lot of water leaks last year and fixed a lot of water leaks. And this was the cause of some of these, of a lot of these low chlorine violations. I'll move on to the Belchase water system, which that grade was a 52%. The largest deduction for the Belchase water plant was from an administrative order we received from the water tower repairs. Back in 2024, the end of 2024, myself and Robert and Chris, with the help of Infomark, we hired a consultant to start looking at these water towers specifically because we knew there were some repairs that needed to be done. Once we identified some of the repairs, the structural repairs that needed to be done to the water plant, the water towers at Cedar Grove, Engineers Road, the one right here on the complex, and Dalcor. We put together some quotes to obtain some quotes to get some of these repairs done, but all of the quotes came in above the allowable public bid law. So that kind of put that on the back burner until we could find some more funding. Fast forward to 2025, we got this administrative order, or non-compliance. There's not a whole lot of difference between the two. But this year, we actually got some capital outlay to add on to the repairs for these water towers. So we cut it in phases. The first phase, we're going to use where we are now with the consultant that we hired, and we're going to do some repairs with some matching funds from the parish and the capital outlay that we're getting this year. We should get it at the end of July, I believe. Phase 2 we're sitting on in P5 in capital outlay. We're sitting on another $6 million. Hopefully next year they'll move that from P5 to P1, and we could do the rest of the repairs on that administrative order. We'll move up to Dalcor. Dalcor had a grade of 78%, and this was 4 points here, 5 points here. A lot of it was the low chlorine residuals from some water leaks that we have since repaired. A couple of points was from the administrative order because of the water tower. And a couple of them for Dalcor was deducted because we didn't do a rate study. We did a rate study, but it was only applied to the Belchase water system. It wasn't applied across the board. We did a rate study. It just wasn't applied to all of the water systems. Point Lahash, that was our pride and joy. That one got a 91. Most of those were from a rate study and some of the leaks that we found, the low chlorine residuals. With that said, I'd like to say again, thank you guys for making water our priority. I don't think y'all have denied any requests to do any infrastructure upgrades, and we are very diligent. We have a list of projects that I say we, this administration, with y'all help, that we have either funded, gone after grant funding, or completed. I could go through the list, but that'll take some time. But was that? We'll email you. Yes, I'll forward you this email. But with that, Robert, if y'all have anything to add.
I just want to say one thing, you know, with some of the ordinance that you guys that created with the ditch where we can go in all of these ditches that, you know, the lateral ditches that we can cut. We found a water line break last year that wasn't draining out onto a road or anything. It was draining directly into a drainage pipe. And we thought it was 500,000 a day, but it was almost as much as a million gallons a day that was out there in the weeds and the woods and all. So again,
Also
actions that have been taken here and during these meetings has gotten us a little bit, we're down the road with progress here.
I would like to elaborate a little bit on Jeff, like with the chlorine samples. Belle Chase District, let's say, we collected right at 2,373 chlorine samples. We had 0 violations. For, let's see, Point LaHash, what is it, Chris? Let's see. We collected, let's see, 1,369 samples. We only had 4 lowering chlorine residuals. And let's see, for Delcor, we had 701 samples analyzed, and we had 4 low chlorine violations. And reason I bring that up is because I know I'll probably receive a call from everybody about us flushing. We have to flush. If we don't flush, this is the violations we get. And I know a lot of residents don't like to see us put water in the ground, but it is mandated by the state. We have to keep this chlorine residual up. Belle Chase is really good because we have a higher population in Belle Chase, so the water is being used more. But Delcor, Point LaHash, Port Sulphur, down the road, it's pretty tough because you got a lot of dead end lines. So you have to keep that water circulating, or you're going to get a chlorine violation. But I know a lot of people don't like it. I know I have moved several hydrants because they said we're filling up the ditch, but we have to flush. That's the main thing. We have to flush with that. So, but I'll take some questions if y'all got some questions, me and Jeff.
Ms. McCarty?
Hello, Mr. Morgan.
Hey, how you doing?
I have a constituent or actually 2, that own AC type repair companies, and they also work on ice machines and things of that sort. And they keep telling me about all the sand that's in our water. Can you address that and tell me something about that? And I've got another point about that.
Is this isolated to one area?
Because he works in the parish on different companies, different restaurants, different, gas station places where they have ice, and he has to go and clean the sand out of those machines. So he's saying that we have sand in our water, and I get blamed for it, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
I haven't heard that just yet, but I was checking to it. Sand, that's pretty. Mostly sand, it settles out in the sand filter because we do have sand filters at Belle Chase. So everything is filtered through sand or anthracite. So, but to have a sand filter blow out, we would know right off the bat if we got sand in the filter. So I have to check into it, Ms. Patty, because like I said, we do use sand filters, but it'll be all over the parish. Like, it just wouldn't be isolated to an area. It'll be everybody have sand, just not, but you're saying it's businesses. So I'll check with some of the ice makers and see what he got.
Okay, and maybe we can talk with one of the people that's more boisterous about the situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Last year, many of us sat in an education class to raise our grade. Does that apply for this year, or you have to do it year by year?
No, ma'am.
Just once.
It's per administrative order. It's not per year.
Okay, good. I had another question, but go ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Schultz?
Why would we do only a rate study for Belchase when we're charging the same rates throughout the parish?
The rate study applied to the whole parish. It just wasn't applied to each water district for the grading, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, the state just didn't give us credit for it. It should have been, but the state did not give us credit for it.
And we didn't go back to them and say,
We asked, I know Chris sent a few emails. I called his boss to see why not, and they told me no. So state, they
so
told
can
us
we
no.
make copies and then just change the wording a little bit and say, guess what, this is the same rates.
Well, the rate,
parish-wide. I mean, this is
yeah,
does not make any sense.
it doesn't. But they didn't give us credit for it because we did one rate study and it was for the entire parish, but they didn't give us credit. But for Belchase, what did he say, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, the rate study was, the same rate study was submitted for each public water system, and the only one that got credit was Belchase.
Okay. I yield.
Mr. Edwards.
Yes, Mr. Morgan, I noticed you looked at me when you talked about the flushing.
Yeah.
And really I say that, I just think that I understand flushing is necessary for chlorine, but I don't think that one resident should be having flushing for 15 years in his ditch. I just think we got to come away to rotate it. And you know, Mr. Thomas in Phoenix, not too far from Mr. Brock, they've been by his house for years and years and years, steady running. And he like most people, it's right by, he's got a trailer and the stuff is coming all by his ditch. I just think that we ought to be thinking about every few years, 5 years, at least move it to another area, but just keep it in the same spot for 15 to 20 years. I just think that I wouldn't want to reach that on nobody. So I think we need to come up with a way where we rotate the flooding. And I don't know if you really looked into that, because I think there's a part not too far from there where hardly nobody lives, that area that can be where the Deftron used to live at, Warren them. There's a ditch right there, and I think that could be used where it's really not involved with residents. But Mr. Thomas has been subjected to this for so many years, and I went and saw the flight, and it's not a good thing that he have to be continuing with that. So we do that. The other thing on where Mr. Palazzo was, we went in and dealt with that, dug the dish out or something and moved it, but he called me and said that they left the mud, on his property where he want to do his plants at, so growing that. So I don't know.
I'll do some more research on it. But I know I asked, me and LeVar was talking about, Lee LeVar and Gerald, we was talking about moving it. But that is a dead area. His area is, we consistently have low chlorine residuals, consistently. So, we are going to try to move it in a better place. I know Gerald was already working on it, but.
For maybe, I don't know if 50 feet, Mr. Brock, from where Winston live and where Warren Deftron them at. How many feet you think that is? You wanted to come by you? Huh? Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I
Yes,
just
sir.
think that we can move that.
I'll look at it, Reverend. That was up. Yeah.
Thank you. I yield.
Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, as we all, I'm sure administration got when the paper came out Tuesday, it was, I'm sure everybody got a lot of calls. So I see that this was on one of my agenda items. Thank you, Mr. President, for moving to it so we won't have to belabor it later in the meeting. A couple questions I have. I know if everybody would have read the article, I'm sure they would have realized what really was going on. So a couple questions. I guess these are for you, Robert, I guess. Sampling of the water. How often do we sample our water? And I saw you had a bunch of numbers. How often do we do it? Do we do it daily?
We do it daily. We have at least 35 samples a day that we take, and they're pH, pH, temperature, alkalinity, total hardness, calcium hardness, chlorides, fluorides, total chlorine, free chlorine, total ammonia, free ammonia, nitrite, and copper.
Whew, that's a lot of tests.
Yeah, it's like I said, we didn't fail any in Belchase. This is not a compliance. This has nothing to do with the water. This is all infrastructure. But the tests are passing.
So we do it daily. And where's the test? Is it at the plant itself, or is it in a line by somebody's house?
All the above. We have certain stations that's spread out through the parish that ELDH has designated for us to take samples at. So we take those samples in each water district. So I think you have how many? We got more samples in Belchase because you have more residents. So, yeah.
35 and Chase?
Yeah, 35 in Bell Chase, sample stations, and we have 6 sample stations in Point LaHash, 7 sample stations in Delcor, 10 sample stations in the Port Sulphur area. So we sample constantly.
I mean, when you sample it, what happened? What do you say? Did we do does Infomark do the testing?
No, sir. I know I talked to Keith about this, but when I first got here, we contracted it out, and the state took over all our samples. We do compliance sampling, stuff it in house to make sure we're operating properly, but the state actually comes out to some of these sample stations and randomly check to make sure that we're in compliance. So
so the state takes samples, Infomark takes samples, and then it gets sent off to the state, the Baton Rouge, and
the state lab
runs a sample.
Yes, sir. Like, I know if you remember when the snowstorm we had, the state had to take that. That's the same lab we were using. They meet. We couldn't get a sample.
Okay.
Yeah.
These results you're talking about, can we post them for the residents somewhere? I know we used to post it when the salt water, we posted the salt, whatever the chlorides were as it rose. And then can we, and I ain't saying you got to post them every day, but because it's a lot of samples, but.
Yeah, what kind of samples you want to see? Because like I said,
what would be, and I drink water. I have no idea what's that. I drink the water. So, just some basic samples. I don't know. I'd lean on you as your profession to know what's the important. I'm sure they're all somewhat important, but what are the.
Okay, yeah.
And then pass it on to the residents so they can know that their water is good to drink and you to use in showers.
It's a consumer confidence report that goes out every year that we put together with all of our measurements, all of our tests that we pass. But it's put out every year, and every person in the parish get it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I did see it coming. I do see that coming in. So. Bell Chase, I listened to Jeff and saw that you had sent us an email a while back in May. These water tower repairs for Cedar Grove and Engineers Road and here, what do we have an estimated cost of that?
I think last time it was right at $7 million. I know we got a grant. Jeff, what's that grant Jonah and them got? Let's see, can I find it?
Okay.
Phase 1?
Yes, sir.
No, it's a capital outlay.
Oh, it's capital outlay. I'm sorry. It's capital outlay. And that was what, $4 million?
No. The initial for phase 1, it's a capital outlay of $700,000.
Okay. Yeah.
But next year, we do have $6 million in a P5, priority 5, which hopefully the next session they'll move that to a priority 1. That's specifically for water tower renovations.
450. And then Peachy has another $6 million in capital outlay for priority 5 for water towers too. So that's the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Jurasich.
Yes, in regards to Ms. McCarty's about the sand, she is correct. I have several ice machines, but I keep them filled up with ice, for several years. And if I have to turn it off for some reason and let the ice melt, there'll be a little sand at the bottom. When I talk about sand, it's very little. And, that's mainly you got to keep your filters on your ice machines changed and clean, because once they get old, they'll deteriorate and stuff gets drawn. So I know we do get sand in the lines every time we get a break.
That's right. You're right.
And it's going to sit in those lines. And when you get excessive pressure, it's going to move that sand that's settled in the bottom of those lines. And I've seen that when they got a break. Sometimes people, you turn it on, it's brown water. You let it run a minute. And to get to Reverend Edwards, and I understand, anytime you're at the end of a line, like at the end of a subdivision or a lane, that's the flushing site, because you got to get that water through that, because that person at the end of the line, that water's backing up, and it's becomes, that's the ones that I think we could address Reverend Edwards by maybe tying into that hydrant and moving that line elsewhere to flush it so it's not, right at the hydrant. So I know, we talk about money, and this is what this is going to take to get everything in compliance. It's going to take money, and it's, we're an enterprise fund and we're not funding ourselves. And that in itself, if we can't get that right, we're going to lose these grants we need to get these plants and all of these grades to normal. And that becomes a big concern. So,
And I do remember one time in Port Sulphur, y'all do some in-house stuff. You got a little room in there where y'all test some things, but that must be the basic to be sure the plant's operating.
That's correct.
Right, and I was impressed with that when I saw it. So y'all do everything y'all can, but when it comes down to it, funding is what's holding us back. And it's gonna take a while. This didn't happen overnight. All of these, infrastructure problems and upgrades didn't happen overnight. And it's not gonna get fixed in a day either. The thing we need to let the people know, your drinking water is safe. And that's the thing when they see these grades come out, when it's in a newspaper like it came out, they don't read the whole article. Next thing you know, you can't drink the water. How are they not going to jail? So, and it's hard not to come back and explain to people, your drinking water is fine. It's the plants that are failing the grade. They're still operational. As you said, Port Sulphur, when we started running water from Belle Chase all the way down the road, we wasn't making water in Port Sulphur anymore. So that's sitting in there. So the state comes and takes a sample at Port Sulphur in that tank that's, has not been moving. That's where they're going to get a bad sample as well. But that's not the water we're drinking. The water that's coming to us was coming from Belle Chase through Port Sulphur as a booster station, Empire, and these other places. But I think the sand issue is every time we get a break. And when you talk about a lot of breaks, that was a major break in Home Place that was running for I don't know how long. That was going under the road straight into the drainage canal. By Daybrook, we just found 2 8-inch breaks, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a couple months ago in the woods. And if it would have been for somebody in there clearing that land, the pipes would still be, leaking, flowing water all day long. It's 8-inch line, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But we fixed those. And y'all right, you fixed a lot of lines.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And, we'll do whatever we can as a governing body to try to, get in compliance, but it takes money. And that's where we at, so hopefully we can keep the grants coming and try to keep it going. Thank y'all.
I want to say, Jeff was right. Like this, I've been here 14 years, but this is the most I ever got done. The most the administration council working together to get a lot of stuff done. It is going better. People really don't see that, but we are moving in the right direction. I will say the state make these grades to put everybody on notice about the facilities, about the infrastructure, because if the water was bad, the state would have came in and shut us down. But the water's not bad, it's the infrastructure. That's the reason they started doing these grades and start to want to hold us accountable. Actually, I think it was me and Jeff who was in a meeting with Louisiana Rural Water, and they actually stated to us if we don't do something with our enterprise fund or something, to the fund, what's the enterprise fund? Enterprise fund, that the state could make us go up on our rates. And that was an eye opener for us that we can't, like Jeff said, we are losing a lot of grants if we don't, because we got to be self-sustainable, and the state wants us to do that. So these grades they put these grades out just for this reason only.
Well, I could tell you, I got text messages and calls about sand in the water in the tubs. I got filters on our boats in Venice, and I could bring you some after a month, and it's not good. But on them flush out lines, can we loop it?
We are working on a loop system. We are. I know me and Keith and Jeff, we talked about it. I think last month. The 20-inch line is coming out, and we have dual feed from Alliance all the way to Port Sulphur. And so that's the next project, next phase of one of the projects that we're doing is going to be from Port Sulphur south, like to Home Place, and have a dual feed, so we can have a loop system that'll help us with our chlorine residual as well. When you only have one line, you got to focus on that one line, but a loop system, it can keep the water fresher than those dead end lines that we have.
And even if we had to, we could get with farmers like Mr. Brock and say, hey, we'll loop your line. You want to go water your garden?
Yeah.
And then I know the water towers, Burris is the newest one, and it's 20 years old. So
we getting a new, y'all approved for a new one.
And I need to get with you later about some water bills, because we getting the same calls as New Orleans or Jefferson Parish now.
I agree. Yeah.
And I got some when we first put them in, and I asked the administration at the time if vibrations could make the meter add gallons, and they said no. So I contacted the meter people and asked them. They said, yes, it can. So
That's the first time I heard that. But I know with the newer meters that we install, if your meter is 10 to 15 years old, it's not accurate. And when you replace the meter, you will get an accurate bill, and it's going to be higher than it normally is. A lot of people don't mess with my meter. Don't touch my meter. No, we got to change it. So when you when you put a brand new meter, you're going to get accuracy for at least 10, 15 years. And that's why you have a meter change out program. But I know that's some of the issue in Jefferson Parish.
we got to watch who replaces the meter too.
That's right.
I know one house, they put the meter in, and when they took it off, they flushed rocks into the line going to the house. And I had to replace washers and toilets and put the meter in backwards, and they had to come back and redo it. So I'll talk to you about that.
Okay, yeah, talk to me about that one. That's the first time I heard that one.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Mr. Edwards.
Yeah, getting back to water tower, just yesterday evening, a resident came to me around 7 o'clock asking about the water tower in Day Vent, for what purpose it served. And so what can we do? But
The Day Vent Tower is actually for fire suppression for the community system. So, the community center right there. That water tower is not tied into our system. That water's.
serve the purpose of the Day Vent.
Yeah, the only purpose is that tower is for water, for fire suppression for the community system. That we're not, that tower, it's not in our part of our inspection or anything.
And my last question is, where we at in terms of having the water, the pipes brought under the river to relieve the pressure on East Bank of the River? I know that was a conversation we had. Is that something still on the board or
We were looking to do a trip back to DC here sometime this month, but we just been sort of busy, but we're planning another trip to get with Scalise's office on that. So we're still working on that. What I can do is I can get an update because we did appropriate some funds to start the permitting process, so we'll get an update on that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ms. McCarty.
I agree that this administration has been working hard on the many water problems we have, and it's hard to keep up. I understand that Infomark also does work for St. Bernard. How do we compare to St. Bernard since you do work on both?
Well, actually, in St. Bernard, we don't do everything. We just run the facility, the water plant, and I believe they got an A.
So you're.
I believe they had an A, I believe. But it's mostly, that's the collection and distribution side. So we only run the water facility in St. Bernard.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Huh? Are you finished with your presidential update? Any comments from the audience?
James Wickstrom, 18367 Wisteria Drive, Ponchatoula, Louisiana. I'm a paramedic on the East Bank, and I've been there for 27 years. I don't drink bottled water. I drink the regular water out of the faucet. My question is, during the testing, what's the difference between the percentage of accuracy between the state level and our local level testing results? The results, are they compatible? Are they?
Mr. Morgan, can you come answer that? I know I tasted, but.
Well, the samples that the state run, we don't compare samples. The state, that what they say is what we go by. Now, we do cross-check the chlorine residuals when they take a chlorine residual, but when they take a back T sample, things like that, the state analyze that because they have the lab to analyze the back T sample. But on the chlorine residual, I say we probably 0.3 to 4% from what they have. Like if they have a 0.8, we might be a 0.9 on our meters, but we calibrate those every day. And sometimes we have had the state come back and recheck it because their meter was wrong or something like that. So we have on chlorine samples, things like that, we monitor those daily. That is a problem. We have to do that. So.
Any other comments from the audience?
Clarence Box, 156, Enos Cameron Lane. That water lane, the water pipe, that hydrant that's got the, that's on my property that was talking about, we could solve that problem real easy. That's all. The hydrant have a 2-inch line coming from it, but it stopped right by the ditch. All we got to do is extend that line another 50 feet, and that resident will have no problem. So that's an easy go. And Billy, keep the ditch pretty clean, cut the grass, so the water will flow, but we just got to extend that pipeline a little further. Thanks.
Any more comments?
Arthur Henry, Dow Chase. You know that article I had in the paper, that was a blessing in disguise, because I commend the administration for having this out in the public, that the public see what the deal is. I know Mr. Champagne is always dealing with it, but I'm glad that I have it out in the open so everybody can see we do have a problem. Now, it's up to us to see how we fix it, but I commend the administration, commend Mr. Morgan, because it's been a long time since this got straight, and I don't know if it's ever going to get straight. I don't know, Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish, big problem.
You know, Mr. Henry, y'all drink bottled water up here. Down the road, we drink out the tap. Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
How you doing? 146 Mount Zion Lane, Lolita Freisman. Don't even start, Mr. Norman. I see your mouth moves when I said something, Councilman. But I'm coming about my water bill and my RV park. The park wasn't even up and running, and I was over there actually with the people that do the fire hydrants. We ain't got but 2 in the parish, Brooks and another organization. Well, anyway, they was there, and he said, I think you got a leak somewhere. So I said, I'll walk the property after y'all get through. And lo and behold, I had a small leak. So I called the water people. I messed up. I didn't know you're not supposed to call them. I messed up. And I called them and I told them, could you just turn the water completely off? No one's in the trailer park or anything. And then the next thing I know, they called me back and they said they sent someone out there and that the guy said the ditch was full of water. I said, impossible. I said, well, I'm on my way down, ma'am. I was on my way with the tractor to go cut grass. So I went down there and I saw the guy, lo and behold, saw him messing around. I said, sir, was you the same person that went to check my water meter? He said, yes. I said, could you give me 20 minutes to get there and come back? He said, no problem. Get down there. I said, well, the people said, you said the ditch is full of water. Where it's at? Oh, it must have left. I said, sir, when this ditch get full of water, the pumping station is on. And the pumping station ain't on because no rain came. So now they want me to pay a $1,400 water bill that don't exist. I said, now somebody done fabricated some stuff in between here. I said, you know how I know it? Because my neighbors is Jeff Raggers and his wife, and she called me. I had a water line break on top. This is down beneath. Okay, I goes there. I said, thank you for letting me know. Got my neighbor, fixed it, no problem. Water bill, same water bill. When I got the water bill on when they turned it on the very first time, they had a break. The lady said, call me back before I could leave Belchase. She said, Miss Lolita, they're on your property hooking up your water. Water is gushing everywhere. I said, I'm on my way down there. When I got the water bill, normal water bill. So why all of a sudden this water bill is $1,400? I don't know. Y'all don't either. They don't either. But I know when I see a game or some bogus activity, I know what it is because I've been through this process before. I didn't get before you and lie. I came with the truth that it had broken before. The water bill never changed. It's still what it was. I have history. I have paperwork on it. And make it make sense. Anything, if you see me come up here, believe me, don't nothing make sense. And nobody never have nothing to say.
I can't answer a water problem.
Me either.
Well, like if you had a leak on your side and the water went through the meter, that's the only reason I can think off the top of my head it would be that high. But if you fix the leak, we will give you credit. We will give you a credit
I
on.
want to know why it's that high, period, because I had a leak at that same very one once before,
What?
and it really actually had a whole bunch of water.
Mhm.
When I went, Big Easy is the name of the people with the fire hydrant. When I came there, it was damp.
Speak in the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. He always keeps trying to do that, so let me stop that. When I got there, all I could go by was some dampness. I took a bottle, I couldn't even put the head of the bottle all the way in the ground because it was dry. So this is just the kind of foolishness I'm dealing with. Make it make sense?
Well, this is. I'm gonna say if you had a high water bill, the water had to go through the meter. So we account for water that doesn't go through the meter, but you are charged on the water that goes through the meter. Now, if you had a leak, like I said, you will get adjustment. But let me do a little bit more research on your bill before I tell you anything else. But if you had a leak on your side and the water went through, you will be charged for it. But we do give credits, we do adjustments if you fix the leak. Like you said, you got paperwork for it.
Robert, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes I know, they would do the water meters and they would just go ahead and, not check it every month. And then when he checked it every third or fourth month, I'm just listen to what I'm saying in the past. All of a sudden you would see a jump in it because they were just averaging out what your normal usage was.
That's right.
Y'all don't do that.
We don't do
with
that.
these electronic meters.
It's all of them electronic. And if
I just wanted to clarify that to be
Right.
sure that that's not, you had the leak several months ago and they just adjusted it because that's the way they would have.
But we have with the new system that we have, you can actually come in or we can send you an email and we can show you the trend of you was using 50 gallons to 100,000 gallons. And it'll show you the trend when it happened, when it started going up. We do all of that now. The new system that y'all approve.
Before for certain residents.
So
When they use that big amount of.
That's right. And if during the snowstorm, we actually were using the system to go turn residents off because we started monitoring during the snowstorm. A lot of people had breaks they didn't know about. So we did start turning a lot of people off and told them to call us back after they got it fixed. So the system we can trace why your bill is high.
My turn. One, I have they never changed my water meter main. I have an old one. I don't have a digital one. They changed everyone around my neighborhood but me. Well, maybe that's a good thing. But far as the previous months and all of that, it didn't add up to that. This was for that. The bill was at the right time. It's just the amount. There's nobody there. I mean, I didn't have nobody for 3 months. 6 months later. So if they missed it for 6 months and say, oh, let's bill them now for the 6-month water bill, that's bogus.
Okay.
Come on now.
Ms. Lolita.
That's not the problem.
Can we wait for him to check on it and he'll get?
Oh, I done been to the place over there and I told the lady what I didn't tell her.
He'll get with me.
So
He'll get with me and we'll.
the bottle is still on the property because just in case, I still left the bottle in there. I said, man, y'all got to stop this foolishness when it comes to me. I don't know what kind of prejudice or foolishness I got to deal with in this parish constantly. If it ain't the permit office, it's something else. I got a problem with energy. What is going on with it about me?
Just give us a chance.
I know I'm a powerful woman now. I know this.
Just give us.
But my
a chance.
goodness.
Just give us a chance to get him to look over your bill and he'll get with me and I'll get with you.
Okay, I appreciate. I even went to the Catholic priest. Sir, help me some kind of way.
Mr. Morgan, can you get her address and do exactly like I did with those others? Show the graph and show when the leak took place or when the high usage and get that back to Mr. Konovich so he can have it, so he can, because y'all have that in the office. It's easy to track.
Ms. McCarty.
You can go back.
I'm good.
Mr. Morgan, I would ask that you update us all so that we know what's going on and update us all about the situation.
Okay.
So that we know what's going on. And by the way, I understand the parish is updating the software, so they're becoming more consistent with the same situation over and over. Thank you.
Thank you.
While I'm up here, can I address the other situations I need to wait? I could go back and second.
Mr. Jurasich.
Yes, I just have, I want to, Mr. Ashley made a good schedule for the splash pads, both at the Roger Halfin Field and the Empire Splash Pad. The people have been very happy. I'm still trying to convince them to be sure they turn them off when they leave. And we've been pretty successful at that. We only had one instance since y'all started. I really appreciate that. And also an announcement that the restroom facility for Jesuit Bend Park will be arriving on the 17th of this month. And I want to thank Infomark and all for getting the water in place and the sewer treatment plant and all of that set up for us. And I think we're still waiting on electrical, or did we make any progress on the electrical?
Yes, so we issued the PO this week, and we have covered all the expenses that we need to complete that part of the project. So we are on target to complete everything around the week after the restroom actually arrives. So we'll need to kind of hook it up, and we'll run some tests and everything before we open it to the public.
So we will meet the deadline.
Yes, we absolutely will meet the deadline.
Great job.
Yes, thank you all for everyone. Yeah, thank you everyone for your hard work and participation in helping us get that project done on time.
Next item, please.
5A will be deferred. 6, beer and liquor licenses, YMCA of Greater New Orleans Tailgate Cook-Off fundraiser located at 33373 Highway 23, Buras, Louisiana, 70041 on September 26, 2026 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. C-Train Tavern, 9080 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana. Dead's Bar and Grill, LLC, 32381A Highway 23, Buras, Louisiana. First Class Gentlemen Social Aid and Pleasure Club Juneteenth celebration located at 278 Civic Drive, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, 70083 on June 20th, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
I'll offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any questions from the audience? Administration, council, machines open. And it passed 8-0.
7A1, construction permits, Venture Global, application number 2019-554, application date 8/5/21, amending permit 2019-554 to replace the marine and ground flare, installation of a new transformer, 2200 Highway 23, Port Sulphur. Councilmember LaFrance.
I'll offer for Mr. LaFrance. Is there a second? Second by Ms. McCarty. Any count from the audience? Administration, council, machines open. Passes 8-0.
B, 181 Eldorado LLC, Robert Buford, new permanent RV park, 154 Eldorado Street, Buras, Louisiana. Venice Charters Unlimited LLC, Brent Roy, permanent RV park renewal for non-spaces, Emmett Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. Kelly Frederick, temporary RV park renewal for 20 spaces, 26042 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana.
I'll offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any comments from the audience? Administration, council, machines open. Passes 8-0.
Harvest Louisiana Terminals LLC, business occupancy certificate to operate a petroleum product terminal, storage and transportation of crude oil and liquefied gas, 15551 Highway 23, Alliance, Louisiana. Councilmember LaFrance.
Somebody offer that for Mr. LaFrance. Mr. Jurasich offers there a second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any questions from the audience? Administration, council, Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this something new, or is this something new, or is this it doesn't say renewal. I thought they were operating already. Is that true? Oh, we got somebody coming up.
Jared Jones, for the record, Harvest Midstream. My address is in Houston. Would you like that?
It's Houston.
Okay, yeah, Houston, Texas. The terminal is in operation. This is pursuant to FTZ and kind of a growing operation. So this is just a growth of that operation there.
And you said FTZ. This is something you're applying for the FTZs?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jurasich.
No, this is some exciting times because we need to see this get back up and running. I appreciate this. So I think, we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it as well. And I think that the company is very, very excited about the opportunities that we have here in Plaquemines Parish.
And the magic word was growth.
Thank you. Any other comments? Machines are open. It passes 7 with 1 abstention.
F, Belle Chase High School Color Guard application for gaming permit is hereby issued to Allison Parrott on behalf of Belle Chase High School located at 8346 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana, 70037. Councilmember Gui.
Councilmember Gui offers their second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Council? Machines are open. It passes 8-0.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following ordinance is on behalf of Councilmember Champagne, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, water tower repairs, Belle Chase, and East Bank project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next two are for Councilmember Schultz, an ordinance to provide for mosquito abatement through the engagement of Vector Disease Control International to dissolve the Mosquito Control Department to reallocate the revenues from the mosquito control fee and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt sections 5.82, 5.72, and 5.79 of Chapter 5, Article 3, Dogs and Other Animals of the Code of Ordinances and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next two are for Councilmember Konovich. An ordinance to extend temporary easement servitude right-of-way easement for coast-wide reference monitoring system project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan lift station repairs E7, 8, and 446 project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that is the only introduction.
Anybody has the withdrawal or deferral?
Yes.
Can be deferred?
Yeah, we need to reintroduce it.
Withdraw it and gonna go back?
It's fall off, so. An ordinance authorizing the parish president to enter into a franchise agreement with Entergy for the right-of-way and privilege to supply electric power and energy throughout Plaquemines Parish, the rights to acquire, construct, operate, and maintain such plants, structures, transmission lines, distribution systems, and equipment as may be necessary for generation, production, transportation, distribution, and/or sale of electric power and energy throughout the parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And this one was for Councilmember Konovich.
If you have anything to withdraw, defer, cue in. Mr. Schultz?
Yes, C and D will be deferred.
C and D?
Yes, and then B will be withdrawn. C and D, Charlie and Delta will be deferred. B, as in Bravo, will be withdrawn and reintroduced. It was reintroduced to make Mitch happy and not have changes read. So that will be voted on though at the next meeting.
Anyone else?
I think you said Councilman LaFrance.
Alton's will be deferred.
Okay.
Whichever one's Colton's, I don't know. Yes.
Can we, do we want to allow them to talk? Or discussion?
We could bring it up for discussion and.
Yeah, they're here. I think we owe it to them to let them come up
Go
and
to
talk.
that one first.
Well, yeah, that's F when we get there.
Well, we could do it now so they can go home.
Well, anybody else has?
Nobody else queued in, so.
Okay.
We go to F, what is it, F?
A resolution ordering and calling an election to be held in the parish of Plaquemine, state of Louisiana, to authorize the rededication, levy, and collection of a special sales and use tax therein, making application to the Louisiana State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
I'll offer for discussion. Second by Mr. Schultz. Any questions from the audience?
I left some information for you guys to review. I'm sorry, I'm Shannon LaRousse, EMS manager. I left some information for you guys to review, so we'll just come to the next council meeting to give you guys some time to look at the documents that we left. If there's any questions. I'm sorry, I'll send it to you.
Mr. Jurasich?
Yes, I think we were a couple documents shy.
I wasn't sure how many I needed to
think,
print.
Councilmember Champagne might have never gotten one either.
I can send anyone that needs, I can provide.
Any other comments from the audience?
Oh, Arthur Henry, this $15 million, that's a projection for every year? You got a $15 million here.
That was the sales tax projected, but I don't think.
Hey, I'm
So that's normally what
people got to ask because it's down here, you know.
So in a normal year, prior to Venture Global, let's put it that way,
That's
was
what I'm
roughly
asking.
15 million. I think we budgeted that this year because Venture Global is not building anything, but we're on pace for, I think, about 12 million.
When the extension comes?
Well, when the extension comes, it will be more than that. So 15 is a normal year prior to Venture Global.
Right, I got that.
So that's why it's 15, because that's what it's projected on normal.
I just want to make sure the projection was correct. Okay.
Any other comments from the audience?
Said your assistant's now send it to us. Yeah.
Letitia Wigstrom, 18367 Ponchatoula, Louisiana. I had something written to talk today, and I didn't know Councilman LaFrance actually was not going to be here. Is this for discussion right now? Okay. Then I am going to read what I have. As an advocate for patient members of this parish, I thank Councilman LaFrance and Reverend, I thank you also for having us come up for a vote. Hopefully it does, because I do believe ambulance services are vital to this community, especially considering the demographics. A life should never be spared at the cost of a dollar amount. Not only can this resolve budget disputes, but will benefit the parish as a whole. As the November 3rd election approaches, and I do understand now that this won't make the November 3rd, correct? Good, okay. As the November 3rd election approaches and a new council is coming in as of 2027, this is the time to vote on this. It should have been done 2 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. Begging for money every year and throughout the years is embarrassing and sad. You are literally playing politics with people's lives and their well-being. Later today, you will hear the fire department ask for $16 million that should have been paid throughout the years of maintenance in buildings, where my husband is in one right now with mold. Also, $5 million for a new training facility. This $5 million can go to the ambulance department in 2027. Even if it comes out their slush fund right now, they're not going to get that built till next year, and they're going to be asking for new budget money. So I ask you, when that comes up, to please defer it. This is a time to put this on the ballot. I ask you to please vote today with amendments. This can help fund the ambulance department with a dedicated income source. In return, leave the money in the parish budget and give to other departments struggling to survive. Granted, money is not a fix-all, but a start to getting the ambulance out from underneath the parish's 1% sales tax and to stop yearly defunding rumors that kill morale. By asking the people to spend their money wisely is not a bad thing. Some people may differ, but it can be good for both ambulance and fire departments to have the top-notch tools to serve the parish. To be clear, the fire department 1% sales tax already collected but not shared with other departments is not shared with other departments, while the parish's 1% is shared between multiple departments like water, sewer, levees, parks, recreation, courts, and libraries, along with the ambulance department. And wow, guys, that's a big spend for little funds. I hear you. The fire got those funds by a vote many years ago after hurricanes destroyed the parish. The campaign said if you build our fire stations within your neighborhood, it would lower your insurance ratings and cost. You must support the tax. Well, of course it was supported. Everybody wants fire protection and decreased insurance rates and discounts. On the other hand, an ambulance millage was brought up during the pandemic when people were not working, losing their jobs, couldn't feed their families. So of course that failed. If you inquire today amongst the public, some people think the fire's 1% is already shared with the ambulance department since they respond together. Let's put this back on the ballot with a clear understanding that it's not a new tax, but a split, rededicated tax for fire and ambulance to share together, giving each 1/2 or 1% sales tax. Since both ambulance and fire are equally important, guys, they are, to the welfare of the people in the parish, this should be shared alike. Both have big needs for life-sustaining measures, and both require funding for those needs and equipment. If you don't find funding, soon, the 2027 budget is right around the corner. This split of the sales tax is a matter of life and death. November 3rd vote can help the people if they vote yes on this. Look, fire department has benefited greatly over the years and even stockpiled $63 million according to the end of the budget for 2026. But guys, it's time to share the wealth from future collections. It's the people's money. Let them decide in November. This can be a win-win for all. It can be a win for fire because they'll still have a hefty budget plus their stockpile. It'll be a win-win for parish government because they'll have a fully funded EMS service and fire department service for the growing parish and the increased 911 calls. It'll be a win-win for ambulance because they have, it'll increase their morale and not have to worry about where funding comes from every year. It'll also give them a working budget with extra funds where we can buy extra ambulances and personnel and supply those to the people on the lower ends of each of the parish. It'll also be a win-win for the parish residents because they'll be relieved to know that they have dedicated working units throughout the parish. It'll also be a win-win for other parish departments because there will be more money left in the general fund for the struggling departments like recreation, and that'll be a win-win for the kiddos too. Before you vote, please consider these amendments. Please consider amendments to include wording as a fire department. Some words were left out on that. Also amended to include the revenues collected by the ambulance department to say within the ambulance budget, the funds to include those to go to the ambulance budget solely, because those funds come from insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, and should replace the cost for ambulance overhead expenses. Again, please vote yes to put this on the November 3rd ballot. Let the people decide if they want the tax dollars to go to a dedicated ambulance department and have both fire and ambulance covered with a split tax. Someone's saved life depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
Well, I think
Next.
there's still other people in the audience. Ms. Brooks or Mr. Ringstrom.
Didn't he come up once before?
Not on this. Not on this item.
Clarence Box, 156 East Campbell. I got to mix emotions because, you know, I'm a firefighter. I've been a firefighter for 42 years, except, and all 42 years I've been the fire chief or the assistant fire chief for 42 years. Except last year I sat out for 1 year because I had a little grief with the fire department and I didn't win the grief. So I'm telling you that. But I sat out for 1 year as a firefighter. I never left the fire department. What I'm trying to say, we need the ambulance. I'm talking about District 1. I know on this West Bank we have like 2 or 3 health departments, like building, two total. Then we have a hospital and we have right there, Metacrest, used to be Metacrest, right there almost in Belle Chase. So this West Bank is well covered, but at East Bank, it's 45 minutes to an hour to get to the nearest hospital. And that nearest hospital is not favorable for a lot of us. We're afraid of it. So,
I know how you feel down the road.
I know. Y'all way down that road, and so y'all depend on that ambulance very, very well, very much. So what I'm trying to say is getting the money from the fire department is not going to be an easy job. I know that for sure. But can y'all go and find out some kind of way? I know we get grants and stuff, so we kind of find another way. If we go to the public and saying that we're going to send another go up to be elected, we're taking a chance of them not passing it. So the fire department, the ambulance do need more money. If you want to believe me, let them start quitting and go to other places where they're going to get paid more money. Then we're going to be in bad condition. So find a way. Y'all smart. I agree. Because somebody said y'all smart. So find some money for the ambulance, whatever it means to take. Bye.
I don't know who told you that story.
Yeah, I was about to say, who told you that?
I never said I was smart.
James Wickstrom, 18367 Wisteria Drive, Ponchatoula, Louisiana. 27 years I've been on the East Bank. 27 years. I watched you come into the world. I watched you leave. It was brought up about Big O's daughter. Thank God I wasn't there. It's tragedy. I want you to understand one thing. Mr. Schultz, thank you for your services as a firefighter, CPR, saving a life. Excellent job. Nobody ever thanks us. Not one time. In my 30 years of career as a paramedic, I have 2 saves. 2. One just a few months ago at the courthouse. Nobody patted me on the back. Nobody thanked me. It's not me. It's my crew, the firefighters I work with, and everything like that. When the ferry shuts down on the East Bank, I am one bad accident away of having more tragedies. I'm the only one. Me and my partner. You can't carry patients on fire trucks. So it's an honor to serve with the fire department. They're all my favorite crew. Ask any one of them. They'll tell you the same thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
.146 Mount Zion Lane, Bearish, Louisiana. I applaud each and every one of y'all because I have a sick sister. And I thank God for the first responders, period. Officers, please don't stop me, give me a ticket. But I thank God for all the first responders because y'all do an awesome job. I have my neighbor is sick as well. And I look out the window sometime, boom, the ambulance either they say they're coming by your sister or they're coming by the neighbor. I say, I see it coming. I don't know which one of them either. I'm in the yard. And y'all do an awesome job. I applaud y'all. I applaud y'all. I don't know how this works because, see, God done put me in this here position with this political stuff that I hate with a passion. But I see it's needed for me to come and go. But we just had a crawfish festival that was for the fire department. How that works?
Yours is volunteer.
Because if it works for the fire department, why can't we have another one or some kind of festival for the EMTs and whatever else need money? Y'all can have one for me if y'all want.
You could have it and sell tickets.
Come on now, y'all. We need this. We need this.
So that was for the volunteer fire department, but that's not going to cover the millions that we're short. That for EMS, we're
Hey,
short.
one thing about I know down the
I mean,
road,
yes,
we
we
get
can do
together.
it, but I'm just saying we need millions.
Yes. Okay, but that's I'm gonna say like Mr. Brock. Y'all smart. Y'all figure it out.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Schultz?
Yes. So,
Mr. Butcher?
Oh.
You didn't stand up quick enough. Young man, you should have jumped right up.
You got to go back to training.
Jonathan Butcher, 216 Good News, Bell Chase. As we said before, there needs to be funding for EMS. I think everybody in this room agrees with that. There's been talks, and I think everybody's been trying. We have some ideas as a fire department we want to bring to y'all's attention, and maybe we could try to figure this thing out. But when we talk about 50% of the tax, and I'm not going to get into it too much, we have 12 stations that we're taking care of. We have 65 employees that we have versus one office. What do we have? 20 employees. I mean, so you want to take 50% of something, and we have 3 times the amount of equipment. We have 40 pieces of apparatus that we have to deal with. So we are committed and to help fund or come up, not help fund, but come up with ideas to try to make this work. And we want to work with the administration to come and just give some ideas to help y'all make a more informed decision on that. Thank you.
Mr. Hinckley?
Hold on.
Oh.
Josie Arnold. I live at 35935 Highway 23, Buras, Louisiana. I've been with Plaquemines Parish EMS for about 3 years now. August 23, I started Plaquemines. I left Acadian. When I left Acadian, I was making $34 an hour. I came home to work for Plaquemines Parish because, one, I was tired of the burnout, and two, I knew this parish needed paramedics. I got my paramedic through Acadian on a contract, so I owed them 3 years. Been a paramedic for 6, going on 7 years now. Under no circumstances has Acadian ever provided the best care they could. And I know the direction that the parish is going when we talk about put EMS under fire, and then fire don't want to deal with us, and we all quit because we don't want to be under fire. We're 2 separate entities, 2 separate cultures, 2 separate purposes to this parish, to the residents that we have an obligation to fulfill. Under no circumstances will I stay, or 99% of this department stay if we go that route. However, I will let you know that when we pull Acadian in, they will not fulfill their obligations. And I have talked to Reverend Edwards when I started because James Winstrom asked me to explain to him the truth behind Acadian's morale and their business plans. I work in Buras on Unit 1894, 7 days a week. I, as a resident, feel this parish deserves a funded source. Because not just my family, but my boyfriend's family, my cousins, residents, their family, everyone down the road's related or knows somebody some kind of way. We all deserve real EMS that will respond. We always talk about, we don't have a plan, we don't have a plan. How can we have a plan if we don't have the funds to sustain our plans? Shannon and I have been trying. I'm Shannon's unofficial help. I do everything I can to make sure I can make her be successful because I love her to death. And I want this parish to work. I want this EMS department to be great like it was back in 2010, 2015, when we had 6 ambulances in Plaquemines Parish. We can't put 6 ambulances up right now when we don't have the people. We're fighting for civil service to get us people through the hiring process, but that takes 10 business months. We don't have the funding. Even 25 to 30% of that parish sales tax, it's the people's money, not fires,
the people's money, will help us get housing for these people to put up more ambulances. It will help us get more ambulances to get people on the road. It will help us improve response times, buy better equipment. You know, we would look better if we had more than 3 ambulances. But how are we going to do that with all our roadblocks? You know, Butcher came up here and said, he has 12. We have little equipment. And you're right. You do have 12. But the only reason you have that is you have permanent funding. You have a better hiring process than we do. You don't have to do a circus act and jump through hula hoops to get people in the door. You have in-house training. We can't even do that, and Shannon tried through the state, and we were approved to do in-house education. We can train our own EMS personnel from EMRs all the way up to advanced EMTs in-house and give our own residents a place to start their careers. But how can we do that if we don't have permanent funding? This money is the people's money. 25 to 30%. And keeping our revenue we pull in will be a huge help. We don't even need 50%. 30% will do a better budget for us. We won't have to beg and plead with the council every year to save our jobs because administration feels like we're a burden. Every time we have to come up here and ask for a truck, every time we have to come up here and ask for equipment and beg the council to help us, we look like jokes and like a burden.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. LaHaye, you still want to talk?
Well, I have a couple of questions. So, Nancy LaHaye, 426 Planters Canal Road, Belchase. How much do you collect? The 50-50, I understand that would be hard on
How much
on the fire
sales
department.
tax on the 1%? Is
Yes.
that your question? We're on pace so the parish is 1%, 12 million, and then the fires is about 12 million this year. It says 15, but we're on pace for about 12.
Okay.
So fire is on pace to receive 12 million this year.
So the fire could not operate, or they would go under, are you saying, if they gave up, say, 25, not 50-50?
Correct. I'm going to address some of that, but yes.
Well, in this list, I lost my house. My house burned to the ground. That's a bad loss. But I would prefer an ambulance. If you have a loved one that is having a stroke and, you need to get them to a facility within an hour for them to maybe be able to overcome that stroke, but they're laying there waiting and they become an invalid and need to be in a facility because we couldn't get ambulance people to them, that's unacceptable. In today's day and time, that is absolutely unacceptable. I don't think you need to spend $120,000 for a study. You have Jefferson Parish that successfully operates. You have, I think that we have people smart enough. You can do your own study and you can figure out what you need, what absolutely you've got to have to be able to maintain an ambulance service that's adequate enough that they can get you to a facility if you've had a stroke or a number of things. Mm-hmm. But it can save lives, heart attacks, but a stroke it's terrible that because you couldn't get the care you needed within that first hour, that you're an invalid for life. That's not acceptable. Not in any parish, not in the United States of America. I'm going to tell you right now. And if I have to choose between fire, you can have my house and everything in it can burn down. I lived through that. But I depended on this ambulance service who serviced my husband who was very ill. And I would not trade that. I can tell you right now. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. You got to come up to the mic. You can't. You got to come up to the mic.
My name is Robin A. Thomas. I'm security for y'all as the council. I live at 107 Planners Canal Road. I can't talk about it. I got sick when I went down to the courthouse, and I called it for 9 minutes without EMS. I would not be here. I would not be here without EMS. I went to my mom's. I couldn't go upstairs because the power was out. And most of y'all didn't know how bad off I was. And the guy looked down and he said, Miss Robin, you can't come up because the elevators are locked up. And he said, go to your mom. I'm going to call you when the power come on. I got there and I collapsed. And without EMS coming, I called it for 9 minutes at the hospital when they got me there. I would not be here to work for you all, to work for myself. I would not be here if it wasn't for EMS. I'm being honest with you. And I know in the East Bank we only got one truck. I worked the truck for 10 years ago. Me and Gerald Williams. And it's hard when you got one truck going up or coming down. But it was a lot. It was a lot. I'm just telling y'all. The ambulance service is very crucial. We got to have it. Because without them, I would not be here today. I truly wouldn't. I had to tell y'all this because, I work for y'all. I work with y'all. And most of y'all didn't know I coded. And I coded for 9 minutes, the doctor said. And it wasn't for them. I would not be here.
Thank you, Miss Robin. Mr. Schultz?
No.
Mr. Higley?
First?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. I'm going to let you talk your numbers and everything there, Chris, here in just a second. But look, this is an issue from day one. I was part of the 1% sales tax for the fire that they got right now, and it was brought to our attention. We could have gotten away with a half a cent. But, we took a shot. We said, you know what? If we can't get by with a half a cent, we'll never be able to go back and get any more. So that's when we chose to do the 1% sales tax. I truly believe that the fire department can get by. I'm not saying the 50-50, but what we've been exploring as an administration, we feel that we can get a portion, that portion might be 30% that can go to EMS, and the other 70% can go to fire. Look, the parish government, where it doesn't only depend on the sales tax revenues, we have ad valorem, we have other sources of revenue, but the parish government, for the most part, a lot right now depends on 1 cent sales tax, and we have to work and live within those means. So if we're at 70 for the fire department, we have to start focusing and look at the monies that we have, and that's where we live within that budget. EMS, if they've got that 30%, they have to live within that budget. And I'm going to tell you, I really do take offense when I heard the young lady just say that EMS is a burden on this administration. Because day one, I think all of you know, from day one, I have been saying that we can take this, we can redirect a portion of this sales tax revenues goes towards EMS. So I'm going to yield the floor. Chris, you can talk your numbers, but we are exploring this through the finance department.
Go ahead.
Shannon LaRue, CMS manager. I would like to apologize for any offense. It was not meant that way. We feel that is our personal feelings. Discussions that are had, numerous discussions and decisions that are made on behalf of EMS. I do not have a seat at that table. I do not have a voice. I am not asked any questions. And it's kind of insulting to me that a competent service would be the option to come in without any questions asked to me. I live this every day with these guys. I get paid 40 hours salary. If we don't have somebody on a truck, I do my job and I cover a truck. We're doing the best that we can. We're just asking for the necessities that we need to provide the best care that the people in this parish deserve, residents and visitors alike. That's all. I just wanted to apologize for that. It was not anything to offend anyone, but if I withhold any information and I don't speak about things, I can't get upset for no one helping.
I'm not going to debate. Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. But I told you last year, it has been a crazy up and down, back and forth road for EMS since I've been parish president.
Correct.
I told you last year, you guys relax. I will see that EMS is funded. You're not going to lose your jobs because of lack of funding. Okay? And I saw to that this past year, and I will see that in the future as well. Okay? So let's move forward. Let's hear what the council's got to say, and we can move on, because we're not going to be voting on this today, are we?
No, but
Okay,
so we felt they had.
I have to disagree with your little thing there. If you was for getting the 1% sales tax, some of it to them, it would have been done 3 years ago instead of Mr. LaFrance doing it a couple of weeks ago. Then every budget you've given us so far you've been in office has been without ambulance. This board put up the money.
Okay.
3 years in a row.
Again, I'm not going to sit here and
fund
debate you right
ambulances.
now about that. And
It ain't
Chris, did I not come to you early in with redirecting some of these sales tax revenues? It's a yes or no answer.
And what did I say? I want a plan. What are we going to do with the excess funding? Not because it won't be excess funding, and I'm going to talk about that. So, you done? I don't want. Okay. So I want to answer some of the questions that were asked, and then talk about it. So the date, technically, it cannot go on November 3rd unless the bond commission has another hearing, which normally they do, but there's no guarantee. So it could still go on the November 3rd ballot. We just don't know. Okay. Fire surplus, the intent of that was station repairs. Now, can we use that money with 6 votes for anything in fire? Yes, but we can't. If we vote on this, it's not like that money can just half of it go to, or 30% or whatever we agree to, go to EMS, because that money is already in the fire fund. It was prior to sales tax, all that. So one of the other reasons why the prior taxes failed was because most of this council was not on the board then, but they had too much. They were asking for too much. They had 5 taxes on the first try, 3 on the second try. It was not a good time to be asking for that many. EMS, if it was by itself, and probably recreation, those 2 probably would have passed. Those were the 2 closest to passing. So you can ask Mr. Butcher. I have been saying that I will support it going on the ballot if we have a plan on what we're going to do. I think we need 2 units on the East Bank. think we need another 2 units on the West Bank. How much does that cost us? How do we change our schedule? I'm not saying we can implement it right now, but now I'm not saying y'all, but administration, yes, you try to come early on, but I said I want a plan. What are we going to do with the funding? If you come to us and say, here's what it's going to cost, finance can then run the numbers, and 25%, go let the people decide. I agree with that. But I don't want to just vote, in this case, 50%. What are we doing? What are we doing? I've been talking to Shannon. I've been talking to Butcher. I've been talking to Jeff for 3 years saying, how do we fix EMS? Every time Shannon or Jeff says, let's change a position, let's add a position, let's buy a new ambulance, normally it's been under my name. Am I right? I support EMS. You can ask Mr. Butcher. I said if it ever comes with a plan and a reasonable request, sorry, it's going on the ballot. Let the people decide. So to say, fire doesn't want to share or whatever, I do. I think the people do need to decide, but we need to know what we need. How many people? How do we need to put a station? Do we need to buy new ambulances? I don't know. I'm not an EMS expert. I'm not a fire expert, but I know more fire than EMS. But that's what we need. Mr. Champagne has preached for years when we appropriate money. Where did this number come from? Right? That's why we have to make an informed decision. Where is these numbers coming from? 50%, 25%, 30%. It could be 10. It could be 30. It might need to be 40. The other question is, if it's 30%, I think fire would operate at about $2 million loss per year, which is survivable. And EMS, whatever. I think that was on the 30. So another thing is, I don't think this council, and I don't think this administration, based on the last talk we had, I don't think there is a desire to put fire and EMS combined anymore. That didn't work last time. It's not going to work this time. Now, what we want to do, this council, everything y'all have come to, and you're not a burden, we budgeted. Habbo talked about 2 years ago when it wasn't funded, we refunded, and we assured you leading up to those budget hearings, y'all will be funded. Y'all will always be funded. We will cut funding in other areas before we cut EMS. So I want to talk, send me an email on why, because I remember working with you, Shannon, on the training through the state and doing a lot of stuff in-house. Why can't we do that? Because that was supposed to save us money and do everything in-house like fire does. So I was not aware that that is not being done anymore because, so just email me please, or go through Jeff and email me. But again, I don't think this council has a problem with putting it on the ballot if we knew at least what the long-term vision was. 2 units on the East Bank. 3, well, we have 2 now, 3 more units, maybe even only 2 on the West Bank. That's what I think. Am I an EMS expert? Absolutely not. But I know we need more units, which means more people, which means more staffing, crews, supplies. So is that an extra $3 million a year, $2 million? I don't know that answer until we get a plan. So when we say come with a plan, we're not saying implement it, but we need to know. So I yield.
Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whew, a lot of talk here. Just let me, and through the budgetary process, Mr. Konovich was correct in his statement. So about the council, we have funded it. But just a reminder, we talked about asking for funds. Civil service is a huge issue and a problem. We, non-administration, we're trying to fix it. That's a problem that's, if we could, we'd fix it tomorrow. It would have been fixed 3 years ago when we came in office, 3.5 years ago when we came in office, but we can't. It's what it is what it is with civil service. So throwing the hiring practice and telling us that it's council administration, that's totally false. It's not our, we are trying. We're trying. We formed a committee to help civil service to try to get these things. I don't think it went anywhere. I tell you the truth. It probably didn't go nowhere through hard work by the administration and some council members on it and et cetera. So again, let's just be right when we talk about things. Personnel, and let me back up, and y'all can talk to Ms. Shannon. She knows I am a supporter of EMS, and when y'all get back, you can ask about that if y'all like. Personnel that you have, I don't know how many vacancies you have now, but that's a civil service issue. But those vacancies, 14 civil service vacancies. Guess what those vacancies are? Funded, ready to go. It's not the administration, it's not the councils. That's not, we put money in there at the budget to get your manpower straight. And you probably, as I know less than Chris knows about EMS. I don't know. Hopefully, you guys do a great job. Hopefully, I don't see you. So, but we all talked about, when we come up with this type of legislation, we're just throwing money at it. EMS is a problem. We just doing this, we just throwing money at a problem. And that will not fix it. That will not, if you throw money at a problem, it's not going to fix it. We go back through history and say it does not fix it. Having a well-defined, and Mr. Schultz said, I guess I'm repeating him, a plan of what we need. We know what it costs to run EMS. We know that. We got those. We know our revenue. We know our revenues we take in. Those are not set in stone, but we got a good idea over the last few years. So let's get together. I think that as you know, somebody said, people smart with the administration, council, EMS, fire. Let's get together and let's try it. You know, let's see what we really do need. Again, I can't throw money at a problem and think it's just going to fix itself. That just don't work. So just wanted to straighten some things out about personnel and about some things about the budget. And with that, I yield, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. McCarty?
Thank you. Everyone in here is passionate about the needs because we all recognize the need. So no one's going to deny that. We do need funding, but we also need, I think this is where Mr. Schultz was going. We need to have some financials to know what actually is needed. We could look at your calls. Where are the general locations of the calls? How much are you taking back from Medicare, Medicaid, insurance? Are we doing the collections? Are we actually receiving that money? You know, there are a lot of variables that in the case. In the last meeting that we had down in Port Sulphur, I asked if administration would asked the accountant to pull up this information. So with that information, we can make a factual decision. What? You gave it to somebody? Oh, well, I got it today. Okay, thank you. Not all of us received that. So we'll look at that. I'll run the numbers and I'll get back to you, and I'll talk to Mr. Schultz, you know. So no one's denying that you need money. And as Mr. Hinckley said, it looks like there's a willingness from everyone to share some of that revenue, but we need to know factually how much. Also, since I've been in office, I've been talking about trying to get a training program. I've taken my pre-meds, and I think that someone who's gone through 2 classes of AP, which requires 2 years. Okay, right. So they've already passed that. If they want tuition assistance, they can get their EMS certification, whichever level, after they've taken those classes, and it will be faster for them because they have taken those classes, and then work for us in exchange for tuition repayment when they go back to school. You have what? Okay. Well, I do know that Mr. DeMarco, and I believe Mr. DeMarco has talked to some schools about that, but I've talked to Holy Cross about that. And they're willing to put together a program. We just need help with that. Okay. So don't think that we're turning a blind eye or a deaf ear. We're very concerned, you know. Thank you.
Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, you know, we throw this word around and say we are smart, but we are not smart. We are dumb when it comes down to politics, power, and our passion. We are dumb when it comes down to prioritizing what is the most serious thing you need. I heard Ms. LaHaye get up there and talked about, she said it very clear when it comes down to house and a husband are different. We heard Robin talk about how she coded for 9 minutes. I think the ambulance thing, we're not giving it the priority we should. I was very happy to hear the president saying that they're on board to that. I really was happy. And I would say that I know all the time in politics, you know, we wear our sleeves on our field. Any day we can disagree with something. And some of us, like myself, are very passionate when we talk. And it rubs us also, we get the feeling, and so the community is penalized because a councilman feeling or a person feeling, because we have our feelings on our sleeve. You know, that make us dumb when it comes down to making decisions. So I just think that, to me, the numbers, I'm not a number man, but the fact that somebody, one agency gets this much a surplus when people's lives are at stake, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that we need to make a decision on that. Because you got this sitting here for years and years, you're not repairing stuff, but the money they're preparing, and you got people almost dying because they don't have life-saving things. What we have to do to prove that we are smart, we have to make this a priority. And we got to leave our politics out of it, who's saying it, and the tone in which they're saying it. We have enough people in this parish who are capable of making things happen. You know, we talk about not having training program, in-house training program. We have somebody like Mr. DeMarco, and I always put on the spot, that I know with her resources stuff we can make. But we just got to make it a priority.
we have to make it a priority. And I believe in the power of the voters. The voters will make the right decision. And if we put something to the voters, nobody can blame no member of this council because the people speak. If we really, truly believe in the power of the people, then let the people make that decision. But we control that because how we plan our part. So we need to stop and really act like we're smart and stop making these dumb political decisions that we're making and making decisions based on our passion. That's what really, because let me just say, I'm not the parish president, Mr. Hinckley, but people come to me, stuff that you're responsible for, I get blamed for it. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Y'all ain't doing that. You know, and I'm like, I'm just one little councilman with less stroke than anybody. You know, but we take it, and I take it. People actually curse me out wrongly. But I'm just saying, I'm saying that to you to saying, but I accept it even because I'm a part of the parish government. So I accept that. People knock on my door. I have to accept that. So again, this is a life and death situation. I say this, and Mr. LaFrance said it really good. I much prefer my house burned down to lose any member of my family, because I can rebuild that house. I cannot get a life back. When we talk about fire, and I know this, the fire department I see on East Bank and the ambulance were very close together. They're the one that's always there before the ambulance gets out. So how can we make that as a continuous relationship with each other? Because the two should work together. I know we say it didn't work, but maybe it didn't work because we were being done with our politics and our passion. That's why it didn't work before. And sometimes we have to accept what it is. If we think it's a need to put EMS and the fire department together, if the need is there and we got the will and the guts and courage to do it, we can make it work, because people don't have no choice but to make it work. Either you make it work or you leave. That's the issue. So, but we give certain people in position too much of power. That's the problem. We got too much power in one people's hand. I yield with that.
Mr. Schultz?
Let
Mr. Champagne.
I asked Commissioner Schultz, because mine's going to be short. I know he's going to probably close with some good stuff because he's really in the weeds on this stuff. I just didn't want my lack of speaking to show that I wasn't concerned. I'm very concerned. Mr. Wingstrom, you said something that really struck a chord with me. You said we're a life-saving team, and y'all are. Y'all do a great job, both fire and EMS. Can y'all get together and come up with a plan? Realistically, take a look at it and give us a plan where you really look at the money you have on the table and say, fire, we can live with this. EMS, we can get by with this. I'm committed as a council to fill the voids, fill the shortages. And I think you've seen, we've all done this. You guys have not done without. And we'll make sure you can do that. But you are a life-saving team. And I'd like to see that team get together and give us a plan. And you've seen, and I can say this, that we will support you because you see what we do for infrastructure. Anytime an infrastructure need comes up here, we're all over it because we believe in taking care of the people of this parish. You ladies and gentlemen do a fantastic job. Continue that effort. Give us something that we can put together, rally around, give it to our voters, let them decide. And you have my commitment that if there's any shortages in either one of your departments, I got your back. I yield.
Mr. Schultz.
So yes, one thing that if it's not done automatically, if this does pass at the next meeting, it will create a special revenue and then pass to the people. It will allow a special revenue fund to be created for EMS because it's now dedicated source funding. So that way it's easier to track everything, finances, expenses, all that. So our legal counsel has told us that if we vote on it at the next meeting, they will call a special meeting for the State Bond Commission. So if we vote on it, it's going to get, if we pass it, it will go on the November 3rd ballot. Now, I debated about this, but you know what? I'm going to go on record. I'll make an amendment at the next meeting because it sounds like 25% y'all happy with. I'm going to make an amendment for 25%. And I'm about to piss off fire, so I guess I'm not going to train tonight, but I'll support it. But, Jeff, I want a plan before November 3rd. If not, I will get with EMS, and if this passes the ballot, I'll start making ordinances on my own for ambulances, adding positions, whatever. But I'll go on record and say I will support this at 25%. Now, if y'all can get us a plan that maybe it needs 30%, okay. But let the people decide, and I'm tired of this for 3 years. But I know, Rev knows, They need another ambulance on the East Bank. I know that. Okay, let's see what the numbers cost. Habbo, LaFrance knows they need another ambulance down the road, at least one, if not more, somewhere else. So we need those numbers, those plans. But I'll support it at 25%. I'll go on record because now that the State Bond Commission will hear it, let the people decide. I yield.
Well, I'll back your 25% if we go after the hospital and let them pay their bill that they owe us in the sheriff's department. Thank you. Next item, please.
A resolution authorizing the parish president on behalf of the Plaquemines Parish government to name and accept the proposal of the Plaquemines Gazette as the official journal for the Plaquemines.
Yeah.
What?
A2?
9A2.
2.
Hold on, let me get to it.
We withdrew one and reintroduced it.
Yeah. 9A2, an ordinance temporarily prohibiting parish-wide the acceptance of new permit applications for certain billboards and outdoor advertising structures pending review and consideration of proposed amendments to the Plaquemines Parish Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Councilmember Schultz. This has changes.
Can you read the change?
Yes. We are removing the old Section 5 in its entirety and adding the following. Nothing herein shall prohibit the continued review, processing, approval, or denial of permit applications for billboards or outdoor advertising structures received by the parish on or before May 28, 2026. Such applications may continue to be processed notwithstanding the effective date of this ordinance. Any permit application for a billboard or outdoor advertising structure received after May 28, 2026 shall not be accepted or considered by the parish. And there's
Mr. Schultz offers that second. Second by Mr. Champagne. Any questions from the audience? Administration? Council, Mr. Schultz.
So yes, when we modified the moratorium, I'll say I was guilty. I didn't read it closely enough. I thought only in certain areas along 23 was allowed to have billboards, but now I'm seeing them, let's be honest, in a neighborhood. 2, I think, on Woodland Highway, and some. I think it's getting out of hand, and I think we need. What this does is put temporary prohibition until the zoning board can look at it and change the language. But we talk about improving the image of Plaquemines Parish and everything. I think we need to at least stop and look at what we have on the books and then go from there, because I find I admit I didn't read it closely enough. I thought it was only on 23 that they could be allowed outside that little zone, but we got to do something, because like I said, in a neighborhood that we didn't vote on that because that was already allowed. The only thing we voted on a couple months ago was changing Highway 23 zone. So I think we need to do something. It's not making Plaquemines look good. I yield.
Ms. McCarty?
I would like to offer that no billboards permanently in District 5 right now. And I would ask Mr. Champagne that we talk about going from the Intercoastal Canal to the Mississippi River along Woodland Highway. I mean permanently, because I'm tired of hearing about something after it's already been permitted. We don't get a notification when somebody's coming into our district. And I was told by the person that put up the sign, well, he had been working on that for a year with the state. I'm ready to just say none in District 5, because I know we're going to expand Barrier Road. I don't want any billboards over people's houses. So can we modify this right now, or do you want to do it?
This is parish-wide, so I don't think, if you.
No, I don't want it temporary. I don't want to have to come back. I don't want a mistake.
This is temporary. You don't have to do a new ordinance, because this is just a temporary to the zoning board can look at.
Okay.
So
Can we get that done, please?
We're doing temporary because the billboard and advertising signs are actually in the zoning book. And anytime you go to do an amendment to the zoning book, you have to have a hearing before the zoning board and follow all those rules and processes. So yes, we are working on a total ban, but it's something that has to be considered under state law and our own ordinances by the zoning board, because we're literally changing the text of the zoning book. So we suggested that we do a temporary ban to have an opportunity for us to look at it and research the issue. And the legal department was working with Councilmember Schultz to enact legislation that I think is going to accomplish what you guys ultimately want to accomplish. But if you just do a complete ban, total, a judge is going to look at that and say we did not follow, is going to say we did not follow the process. So that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Okay. I would like to talk to Mr. Champagne about Woodland Highway, that I don't think in our neighborhoods from Intercoastal Canal all the way to the Mississippi River, there's going to be any need for a big billboard. And we have also, I'd like to also include in that monument signs along Woodland Highway.
So I'd recommend next week, whoever's interested in this, obviously Ms. McCarty is, and Mr. Champagne and Mr. Schultz, we can meet in the president's office and you guys can kind of outline the parameters that you would like us to submit to the zoning board for consideration.
Thank you. I yield.
Edwards.
So what do we do about those folks who already got signs out? Are they grandfathered?
That's done. Yeah, that's done.
Sorry?
That's done. It's over. Yeah.
Huh? That's what I'm saying. So we have so many grandfathered in that's really super.
Well, it's not that it's grandfathered in. It's that the zoning book doesn't require council approval for those billboards. So that is one of the things that the permit office has done under the law, and the law was written pretty generously in that regard. Maybe it shouldn't have been, but that's the way the law was written, and the permit department was issuing permits as it's authorized to do.
Well, don't you think people might have a legal ground when we talk about they can't do it, when they can say, well, there's 10 on Highway 23 that's supersized, and they're not only on big signs, they're in people's yards, you know. So I don't know why we're doing this, but I'm just saying.
I'm not disputing that at all, and I think that's what we need to consider in the permanent legislation. So, you know, anyone who has input on how they want that to look, and obviously you have a rural area, so you may be more inclined to allow some signs with other restrictions. We certainly would want your input on that, but that's going to be the time to do that next week if you guys want to meet.
And then when it comes down to election, you know, how do you?
Well, the council can require us to come back to you guys with that. So if y'all say this is such an obstruction and, you know, whatever, and to the extent they're limited in certain areas, you can consider that just like you would any zoning change. You know, what are the neighbors saying? What is the local impact? You know, is it close to, you know, whatever. So that all of that is on the table for consideration.
Yeah, because I just think that I know I served on the zoning board for almost 10 years, and you'll have to come in with residents bringing signature to show this is not one disgruntled person because they got a big house and they don't want it this side, but it's okay because I don't have a big house, I can have a big sign there. So I just think there should be some consistency in what we're talking about and doing it. Because I know we do a lot of stuff based on our passion and our politics, you know, so I just want to throw that out.
Yes, I'm glad you joined the name, because all them lawyers on them billboards gonna be a class action suit. Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Schultz, we do have a ordinance about signs, about billboards, correct? From the Intercoastal Canal to just
the air base or something like that?
That's past the air base, past it.
I think Walker Road, maybe.
So where's the current that I should know? Because I know it starts at the Intercoastal Canal going south. Okay. I should have did my research so I'd have known that answer. But I might know it. I might just see if you know it.
So right now, on Highway 23, billboards are allowed everywhere in the parish except for on Highway 23 between the Intercoastal Canal and La Receipt, I think.
Okay. So
somewhere in that, there's a certain point.
Line's fine. All right. So it's from
lines. Let's just say there. So everywhere else, it's allowed right now.
It's allowed.
besides on 23 between those two areas.
Is it allowed, so, and you spoke about a neighborhood, they have a sign in the neighborhood?
Yes, in Fort St. Leon North.
But is that property zone probably commercial?
Commercial, it is owned commercial, but it's still in a neighborhood. Really?
Well, the business is in the neighborhood too, correct? So we're going to
Correct.
shut a business down because it's in the neighborhood?
No.
Okay. I'm
But-
just saying, the property is zoned commercial.
Correct, and that's what we're going to change in the zone, part of the zoning rules. Like it still might be able to go up, but they have to take certain, there might be certain language changes. Correct, it's a language change.
This thing can be written however you guys want. I mean,
Correct.
it's
This is just
really-
putting a temporary ban until we can get it in the zoning book correctly.
So it says temporary, certain billboards and outdoor advertising. Have we talked about a size?
Display exceeding 100 square feet in sign face area, whether on premises or off premises. It's section 2.
Oh, okay, I apologize, it's there. So if I got and I know when I traveled the southern end of the parish, you got a lot of folks out there got signs in their yard about charter fishing. They got seafood for sale in their yard. Are we going to?
I don't think that's over 100 square feet.
Okay. So
100 square feet is.
That one of them pretty big.
But it's already there, so it's already permitted, or it's supposed to be.
So, but it goes back to Reverend Edwards, so we're going to tell this person, you can have a big sign yard, but from now, you can't have a big sign yard because it's all, I just think we're getting in there.
What this does is if we need to find out, okay, how big are those signs? We might change the language to no signs bigger than 150 square feet. Okay. That's what this is doing, just putting a temporary ban until it can go before the zoning board. Mr. Brox, you're hearing all these comments, right? You're on that board. So that's what this does. It's not permanent or anything like that until we can get a zoning change. That way, when it goes to permits in the future.
And Mr. Newsom, your examples are covered in section 3. So it says nothing herein shall prohibit customary on-premise business signs, which is what you're talking about, like charter businesses and whatnot, that advertise or identify a business, product, service, or activity lawfully conducted on the same premises, comply with all applicable parish zoning, permitting, size, height, setback, sign relations, and are approved through the normal course of business. So anything 100 and less is going to be permitted, and those are the typical signs that you're talking about.
Thank you.
Mr. Jurasich.
Yes, I know we say it temporary just means until we get the zoning ordinance.
Correct.
That's all I had.
Ms. McCall?
Mr. Beers, did you just say anything under 100 foot wide?
No, 100 total
100
square feet.
Okay. To me, that's still even big. It's still permitted, The biggest problem I have with the experience that I just had with putting a billboard in District 5 on Highway 23 is that I was told that the state permitted it. I'd like to know if that's true. And then our permit office doesn't even come to us and say, guess what? There's huge things coming up in your district. What do you think about it? So I want to work on that aspect of it too. That's all I'm saying.
I think the aspect that the state, what they say, they take a look at the sign, whether or not it impedes on any kind of the vision. All right.
Apparently it took a year for them to look at it, and we didn't know until the day it was in the ground.
Mr. Schultz.
So I somewhat get what you're saying on not knowing, but do they come tell you on every house being built in District 5? That's permit. No, it's not. It's a permit through the permit office.
We cannot legally, we cannot write a law for everything because it would just take up too much. But anything that's really disruptive.
Hava says we have a law for everything.
Got to go to the permit office to do anything.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Well, they should maybe
for
we
right
need
now,
an ordinance to let
we
us
need to
know.
put temporary, in my view, put a temporary ban until we can get a hold of what's actually on the zoning books. So that's what this is. I call the question.
I'm in favor for it.
Question's been called. Machine's open.
You want a
You want
verbal?
Verbal?
Verbal? No?
And it passes 7 with 1 no vote.
I don't know, I didn't vote no. You just didn't vote.
Not vote, not vote, not vote.
G, a resolution authorizing the parish president on behalf of the Plaquemines Parish government to name and accept the proposal of the Plaquemines Gazette as the official journal for the Plaquemines Parish Council and all other political subdivision and districts situated therein, of which the Plaquemines Parish Council is the governing authority. Councilmember Kotnovich.
I'll offer this because it was putting on my name, but ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any questions from the audience?
G.
9G.
Who's second? If we do the other second.
Upper hand is Del Chase. Hey, I'm gonna support the Gazette again. We need print. We need print, especially today. I know everybody gonna put everything online, but what about AI? AI gonna tell a tale one day, but if it's in print, can't erase it.
Clarence Brooks, 156 Enos Camerland. I'm in favor of the Gazette also because I have advanced since last time I came in here representing the Gazette. My old flip phone broke and I got another one. So it's a flip phone. Yeah, I was able to get one.
Maybe it's analog.
I was able to get one. But everybody don't do that technology, and we need to put. A lot of people rather read it. Right now, the cell phones and all that kind of stuff is. My grandchildren think they're smarter than me because they could use a cell phone better than I can. And I tell them the way I came up, I had to read it. Y'all just putting it up. I asked them a question the other day about a certain person. No, about my car, my first car, how much I paid for it, and they told me exactly how much I paid for it. But I put it up on. We need to go back to books. It's too easy for them now. So we need to have them read it so they could get a good understanding of it. All right. Thanks.
Norris Babin, 114 Woodchase Street. I thank you all again for the opportunity to be before you and the good work that you do year long. I just wanted to say, I know a lot's been said in the past from some members that don't care for or don't feel that the public notices should be printed in a paper in this time, and I get it, and I appreciate your opinion on that. Lately, we have been getting an increased amount of calls from subscribers and users of our service. Some public notices. I had a call this week from an attorney's office. They ran a public notice in 2016, and what they were looking for was proof that it was published for the court. And they changed personnel, and they could not prove it. Within 10 minutes, I emailed it to them. We get calls weekly for obituaries. I can't tell you how many people get emotional when I tell them there's no charge for it. I don't know, we might be an outliner, we might be the last newspaper in the world that doesn't charge for it, but as long as we don't need to, we won't, because we feel like it's a service for the communities that we serve. And, you know, again, I appreciate your time, I appreciate your opinion, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Schultz?
We didn't get our paper in the building this week, just FYI. So that didn't go over well with us. What?
The delivery person was sick.
I finally got. Crystal had to go there to get it.
Actually, my driver was sick, and the stand-in, who's from down the road, came up, and I think they got lost in F. Edward Hebert's consortium of buildings. So I apologize. I'll bring it to you tomorrow if you'd like. All right. Thank you.
We didn't. Did you?
Crystal.
I think Crystal went and got it. We didn't go get it. Crystal went and got it. Machines are open.
Oh, goodness. I get lost in this complex myself.
Mr. Edwards. It passes with 7 with 1 abstention.
H, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan repairs Duvik Pump Station project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Katnovich.
I'll offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any questions from the audience? Administration, council, machines are open. Mr. Edwards. Passes 8-0.
I, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan repairs fire stations parish-wide project and the new construction fire training facility project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Mr. Schultz offers, is there a second? Second by Mrs. Jurasich. Mr. Schultz has an amendment. Yes, sir.
On line 6, the words "and $5 million to the new construction fire training facility project" will be removed. Line 11 and 12, the words "and $5 million to the new construction fire training facility project" will be removed. And lines 20, 21, the words "and $5 million to the new construction fire training facility project" will be removed. And with that, I offer that amendment.
Mr. Schultz offers and Mr. Jurasich seconds. And any comments from the audience?
Arthur Henry. So, Councilman Schultz, you only doing repairs, you're not building a new building nowhere?
Correct. So these are 3 stations that are being repaired. And I talked to Mr. Butcher that we have 2 ongoing repairs right now to the East Bank and Engineers Roads. Thank you. And these will be 3 additional ones. And I'm like, right now we need to focus on repairs instead of building a new building. And he said, okay, that's fine and then we might approach this later in the year. But right now we need to focus on the repairs. And these were quotes that came from a engineer that were sent to us in March. So this was well in advance of any EMS fire discussion or anything like that. It just took time to get the stuff together. But yes, this is 3 stations getting repairs.
All in 1 year?
Well, we're going to start on them and everything, but probably go into 2027.
Okay.
Clarence Block 156, Enos Cameron. Is one of these stations on East Bank at the little fire station in Phoenix? Because it's
No. These are Boothville, Port Sulphur, and Myrtle Grove. Boothville, and Port Sulphur.
all right. We need some minor attention to one of the fire stations in Phoenix, so I thought it was that one.
We'll look into that on the next round. But like I said, at this point with these 3, that will be 5 stations getting repairs, and that's enough on the plate for right now.
Thank you.
I'll yield, I'll yield.
Good afternoon again. Jonathan
Pull
Butcher.
the mic down.
Bell Chase.
Pull the mic down, please.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today regarding the request to transfer funds for the fire department's capital improvements. First, I want to make clear that I understand the concerns that have arisen with the training center. After listening to the discussions and considering the other priorities facing the parish, I agree that we should remove the training center project from consideration at this time. It will allow us to focus more on the projects that we already have going in place and the 3 that we'd like to continue, but we would like to revisit it towards the end of the year. Today I'm here asking for your support in transferring the funds so that we can make the necessary repairs to our fire stations in the parish. Over the past several weeks, I've provided each of you with assessment reports detailing the conditions of several of our stations, including Boothville, Port Sulphur, and Myrtle Grove. These reports identify significant issues that have developed over time and require attention. The repairs we are proposing are not cosmetic improvements, nor are they temporary fixes. We're looking at long-term solutions. In the past, we've had to, let's say, Band-Aid things because we didn't have the money, and we don't want to do that no more. We want to fix them, we want to fix them right, and we want it to be a long-term solution. Our firefighters operate from these stations 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The requested funding will allow us to address structural concerns, building system deficiencies, and other critical infrastructure needs that have accumulated over time. By making the repairs now, we can prevent further deterioration and avoid more costly repairs in the future. This request is not about expanding services or constructing new buildings. It's about preserving and repairing the facilities we already have and ensuring they remain operational for years to come. I respectfully ask for your support of this transfer so that we can move forward with these much-needed repairs. Investing in these stations is an investment in public safety, our firefighters, the residents of the parish. Thank you for your time, your consideration. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
While you're there, I got one question, and it's not about, per se, the firehouses. How many ladder trucks do we have from Jesuit Bend down?
Jesuit Bend down?
Yeah.
Right now, we have one at Port Sulphur. We do have one in order, or on order. We're expecting this summer to go and look at it. It's going to Port Sulphur. The one in Port Sulphur is going to Myrtle Grove. And then we do have one in Venice.
I think we ought to go after FEMA since they're making us go so high off the ground. They ought to buy us some ladder trucks.
If you can help me out with that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr.
I definitely
Newsom.
will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Butcher, let me ask this question. I know you spoke about your train. So we just had a huge discussion about training with EMS. So what are y'all train at now?
Right now, we have LSU, or FETA, State Fire Marshal's office. If you drove by campus today, you saw a trailer in a parking lot. They just delivered that. We do that. We do have in-house training, but we need the training tower and a facility. One, it helps the insurance, and we can also use it for the PIL rating for the insurance, but it's real hands-on training. So we can go in and build. One of the things we're looking at is this WHP building. It's a tower, and it's 3 stories tall. We can burn in it, rappelling. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be top-notch. Right now, we have to either get with the base or go to Jefferson Parish.
For your train, okay.
And it doesn't really work out so well.
Thank you.
Ms. McCarty.
Hello, Mr. Butcher.
Hello.
Since 23, when we first got in office, the building on Engineers Road, I understand when it rains, the rain falls through the roof down to the bottom floor. And people have felt that they could not stay in there. So does it need just repairs, or?
They put.
I can't hear what you
just
said.
about tore it down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I keep hearing repair. I'm thinking we were building a new building.
That's not part of this.
Okay, so I was asking for clarification. That's why I was talking to him.
No, we're building a brand new building there.
Huh?
It's all.
I know. I'm heated today. So we are building a new building. I wanted to make sure, and it's not just repair on Engineers Road. Oh.
Yeah, it's down to the metal, and they are putting in a new roof, new skin, new inside.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
The foundation, the structure,
The
framing was good.
The framing is still there, and that's the only thing there besides the concrete.
Okay, thank you. And when will it be complete?
We're looking at the end of the year, possibly January.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
You're welcome.
Mr. Edwards.
Yeah, where are we at on the Woodlawn Firehouse?
That one, same thing, possibly, would probably say more than January, February. They just put some new doors in the other day.
It seemed like that was a major repair. What's taking it so long? I mean, because I thought we were just
Contractors.
taking out some walls there, and the rest, most of the work was on the top, and I just thought it was sort of some cosmetic kind of work from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, contractors, they did have some rain delays. The river was high. We did get the concrete done not too long ago. The garage doors were just installed, I believe, Tuesday. So
I saw some activity the other day for the first time in a while. The other thing is, are we going to get a ladder truck on the East Bank? Because we just had several incidents where people had a problem getting a lady from 21 feet because we didn't have nothing with a ladder on it. And she ended up real sick just because they couldn't get her down, so that time, so are we looking at having at least one ladder truck on the East bank of the river?
Yes, sir. It's on the water, and we're expecting it to be arriving in about 18 months.
How many months?
About 18 months. It usually takes 4 years.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Jurasich.
Yes, Mr. Butcher, you did mention Jefferson Parish and the Naval Air Base. Don't y'all have an agreement with them to be able to use those facilities anytime?
Well, it's not that we can use them anytime, but we do have agreements that we're allowed to train with them or use their facility, but it's not just, we can't go in at any time, obviously, especially on a
Right,
base.
well, I mean, you have to get permission.
But yeah, what we're looking for is something for us, also by having the drill tower. Like I said, it'll help with the insurance rating. And by having our own facility, we can help train volunteers. The volunteers aren't necessarily able to go to Jefferson Parish when they're officering classes or go to the base after certain hours. So this is more, not only for us, but it's to help the community with getting some more volunteers training.
How often do y'all use those training facilities?
Well, right now, we don't have them, so we're just mainly using them when we do the rookie class.
Okay, I mean, because I'm just trying to figure out, you're going to come back later on, I'm giving you some questions that you're going to hear again, because do we really need it if we have access to other ones? Right now, that's a want, not a need, and I appreciate what you said earlier when you got to the mic. You spot on.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Schultz.
So yeah, I was actually going to hit on the training tower before you asked, but volunteers don't train. I went to Jefferson Parish one time when I was going through my ratings just to check that box and haven't been sent back since. But we have buildings and 2 stories and stuff like that we don't train on a regular basis on because we can't. I mean, Jefferson Parish doesn't allow us to go a lot of times at night or anything like that. But right now with everything going on, it wasn't the time to do it because we got repairs that we have to do. So that was going to be my comment on that. But I guess you're right, Patty, that Engineers Road is leaking right now. A lot. I yield.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Reverend Mr. Edwards.
Open that door.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you.
10, approval of the minutes from the May 28th, 2026 regular meeting.
Mr. Newsom offers their second. Second by Mr. Jurasich. Any questions from the audience? Administration, council. Machines up. Minutes. Machines are open. Dr. Gui. And passes 8-0. You could defer B and C. B and C.
E, finance included in the email of council meeting reports and updated expenditure and revenue report for all funds. Please review the reports and call finance with any questions. Councilmember Kotnovich.
And that's just a reminder. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Jurasich, second by Mr. Newsom. Machines are open.
Me too.
Champagne. It passes 7 with 1 no. Let the record show it finished at 5:04 p.m.